Listen closely, because what you are about to receive is not accidental. You did not wander into this message by chance. You were guided here. Something within your spirit has been stirring for a long time, quietly but persistently. You have felt it in moments of silence, in the way certain conversations no longer satisfy you, in the way familiar environments suddenly feel heavy. There has been a restlessness inside you. Not the kind that comes from boredom, but the kind that comes from outgrowing what once felt like home. You may not have had the language to describe it, but your soul has known that a shift was coming long before your mind could explain it. You have noticed yourself pulling away from certain people, certain habits, certain emotional patterns, and even certain versions of yourself that once defined you. Nothing dramatic may have happened. There was no explosion, no betrayal, no visible breaking point. And yet, a quiet distance began forming. A gentle drifting, a soft but undeniable separation. This is how divine transitions often begin, not with chaos, but with clarity, slowly rising beneath the surface of your awareness. When God is preparing to move your life into a higher season, He rarely starts by changing your circumstances. He starts by changing your environment. He begins by removing voices that can no longer travel with you. He gently loosens your attachment to people who limit your vision, drain your energy, distract your focus, or anchor you to cycles you have already outgrown. Before a new chapter opens, especially before a spiritually weighty season like the one approaching, there is always a cleansing. And if you are honest with yourself, you have felt this cleansing everywhere. In your thoughts, in your emotions, in your social circle, in your priorities, in your dreams. It is as if the lights have suddenly turned on in a room you were sitting in for years without realizing how dim it had become. Now you see clearly. You see yourself differently. You see others differently. And instead of guilt, instead of fear, a quiet inner voice keeps whispering, "This is the right direction." Still, even when your spirit understands what is happening, your human side struggles. There are moments of confusion, moments of loneliness, moments where fear tries to creep in. You ask yourself questions you never used to ask. Why don't I feel connected to these people anymore? Why do the things I once loved no longer excite me? Why does being around certain energy exhaust me so quickly? Why does it feel like I am being pulled into isolation? Why does everything feel temporary? These questions are not random. They are signals. They are signs that you are crossing a spiritual threshold. Signs that your identity is shifting. Signs that God is cutting ties with the past so you do not carry unnecessary weight into your future. Elevation always demands separation. Growth requires distance. Clarity requires silence. Transformation requires release. And before the next season fully arrives, God is separating you for a reason that is both powerful and protective. The path ahead cannot be walked with crowded company. If you are still here, still reading, still present with this message, then you already know deep inside that it is meant for you. There comes a moment in every chosen soul's journey when the world around them becomes strangely quiet. Messages slow down, invitations fade, relationships begin to feel shallow. Conversations that once flowed easily now feel forced and empty. People you thought would be in your life forever begin to feel distant, as if their role in your story is naturally coming to an end. This can feel painful, but there is wisdom hidden here. God often removes access before He releases acceleration. He closes doors you would never have the strength to close yourself. He shifts the atmosphere because He knows you would stay comfortable even when comfort is limiting your growth. He disrupts your peace in places where you no longer belong, because He is guiding you toward an environment where your purpose can finally breathe. You are not losing people. You are shedding layers. You are releasing versions of yourself that learned how to survive but never had the space to truly live. And as you shed these layers, the people attached to those versions cannot remain. Some connections were only meant for the chapter in which you met them, not the chapter you are entering, and not the future God is shaping for you. This is where grief enters the process. The grief of outgrowing people you genuinely care about. The discomfort of walking alone. The fear of being misunderstood. But separation is not punishment. It is preparation. It is divine realignment. Think back to the moments when you felt the most spiritually clear, when your intuition was sharp, when your discernment was strong, when your heart felt deeply aligned with your calling. Were those moments surrounded by noise and crowds, or were they found in stillness? Quiet seasons are sacred. They are intentional. They are the wombs of transformation. Before God launches a chosen one, He isolates them. Before He promotes them, He protects them. Before He expands their influence, He empties their environment. And that is where you are now, in the emptying. This emptying may feel uncomfortable, but it is purposeful. There are clear signs when God is separating you before a major transition. One sign is that you are losing tolerance for shallow connections. Small talk drains you. Surface-level interactions feel meaningless. You crave depth, honesty, truth, and energy that feels genuine. You no longer have the capacity to entertain relationships that do not align with your soul. You are not judging anyone. You are simply evolving beyond what no longer resonates. Another sign is that your spirit becomes uneasy around certain people for no obvious reason. Nothing is outwardly wrong, yet something feels off. Your spirit rejects what your mind once tolerated. This is discernment growing stronger. And a third sign is an inward pull, a deep call towards solitude, reflection, and inner growth. You find yourself craving silence, seeking purpose, longing for meaning, and developing a deeper hunger for spiritual truth. This inward calling is not accidental. It is recalibration. As you move closer to the coming season, you are being prepared differently from many around you. The world will grow louder, more chaotic, more demanding. Distractions will multiply. People will cling to whatever gives them comfort, even if that comfort is unhealthy. But you are being positioned ahead of time. You are being set apart early, so you do not get lost in the noise that is coming. Distance now creates discernment later. Others may misunderstand your withdrawal. They may think you are changing. They may think you are becoming distant or cold. But they do not see what is happening internally. They do not see the awakening of purpose. They do not see the protection surrounding you. They do not see that separation is the evidence of elevation. God does not separate average souls. He separates those with assignments, those called into deeper waters, those meant to lead rather than follow. Being separated does not mean being abandoned. Being isolated does not mean being rejected. Being pulled away does not mean being forgotten. God is not removing people to leave you empty. He is removing interference to create space. Space for clarity, space for purpose, space for alignment. space for His voice to rise above all others. He's not taking love away from you. He's taking distraction away from you. He's quieting the room so you can hear what truly matters again. This phase is often misunderstood because it feels like loss. But in truth, it is release. You are not losing people. You are losing illusions. Illusions about who others were. Illusions about who you thought you had to be to stay connected. Many people come into our lives for a reason, a season, or a lesson. Very few are meant to walk with us forever. And when a season ends, it rarely ends with drama. It often ends with silence, distance, and a gentle emotional detachment that your soul accepts before your mind catches up. Not everyone can follow you into your next level. Not everyone has the discipline, alignment, or courage required for where you are going. Your calling cannot survive crowded company. Your destiny cannot thrive on divided attention. Your spirit cannot grow in environments that dilute it. God is not separating you out of cruelty. He's separating you out of protection. You have always been different. You have always felt things deeply. You have always noticed what others overlooked. You have always carried a quiet sense of purpose, even when you could not fully define it. Somewhere inside, you knew your life would not follow a common path. Chosen ones are rarely raised in comfort. They are shaped through contrast. They are refined through pressure. They are separated through misunderstanding. When God begins pulling you away from people, it is not the beginning of loneliness. It is the beginning of leadership. Leaders are not formed in crowds. They are formed in solitude, in unseen seasons, in quiet places where character is strengthened and discernment is sharpened. God will not allow you to stay where your destiny cannot grow. He will not let you remain surrounded by connections that limit your calling. Some of the people leaving your life now were bridges, not destinations. Lessons, not legacies. Their role was temporary, and that does not make it meaningless. It makes it complete. When you rise, everything that is not rising with you naturally falls away. This is a spiritual law. Every elevation requires purification. Before your influence increases, your circle decreases. Before your intuition strengthens, confusing voices fade. This is why certain environments now feel heavy. This is why conversations drain you. This is why solitude feels necessary. These are indicators that God is moving you out of spaces that no longer align with who you are becoming. You do not have to force this process. You do not have to confront or explain. Follow the peace. Follow the inner knowing. Chosen ones do not lose people. They outgrow them. Many people were aligned with the version of you they first met, not the version God is shaping now. When your frequency rises, misalignment becomes uncomfortable. The wrong people feel draining. Old patterns feel unbearable. Unhealthy environments feel suffocating. Discomfort becomes a tool God uses to redirect you. Silence awakens what has been dormant. Emptiness points you inward. This is not rejection, it is realignment. You may notice your tolerance for toxicity disappearing, your need to please others fading, your fear of being alone transforming into peace. Your sensitivity to truth sharpening. You are being upgraded. Your spirit is being recalibrated for the assignment ahead. Old wounds are resurfacing so they can heal, not hide. Everything is being reset. And because of this reset, you cannot carry old attachments forward. God is acting early. He is closing doors before storms arrive. He's removing distractions before full focus is required. He is protecting your future by reshaping your present. This separation is not just about people. It is about energy, atmosphere, and alignment. It is about protecting your spirit so that when the next season arrives, you can walk into it whole, clear, and free. Freedom always follows separation, and when this process is complete, you will look back and realize that what felt like loss was actually preparation for the life you were always meant to live. When this separation reaches its deepest point, something subtle but powerful begins to happen inside you. You start noticing that your inner world feels clearer, calmer, more grounded, even though your outer world looks quieter than ever. The silence that once scared you slowly starts to feel safe. You realize you can hear yourself think again. You can feel your intuition speak again. You can sense direction instead of confusion. This is not emptiness. This is space, and space is necessary for anything new to be built. God never removes without intention. When He clears your surroundings, it is because He is about to fill your life with something that requires room to grow. In this phase, you may feel tempted to go back, to reconnect with people who no longer align, to re-enter environments that feel familiar simply because they are familiar. This temptation does not mean you are weak. It means you are human. The mind seeks comfort, even when comfort limits growth. But your spirit knows better now. Your spirit remembers why you left. It remembers the heaviness. It remembers the draining conversations. It remembers how small you felt when you were meant to expand. And every time you consider returning, something inside gently resists. That resistance is wisdom. That resistance is protection. That resistance is God reminding you that what you left behind cannot support who you are becoming. There is another truth few people talk about. When God separates you, He also begins rewiring how you connect. You no longer bond through trauma. You no longer feel attached through obligation. You no longer mistake familiarity for alignment. Your standards rise, not out of pride, but out of clarity. You begin to value peace over popularity, depth over numbers, truth over approval. This is why some people will feel uncomfortable around you now. Not because you are doing anything wrong, but because your presence no longer agrees with dysfunction. Your silence no longer feeds chaos. Your boundaries no longer invite disrespect. And those who benefited from your old openness may call you distant, changed, or difficult. But what they are really experiencing is the loss of access. As this process continues, God begins strengthening you internally in ways others cannot see. Your emotional resilience grows. You recover faster from disappointment. You stop taking things personally that were never about you. You become less reactive and more observant. You listen more than you speak. You choose your words carefully. You conserve your energy. This is not withdrawal. This is mastery. You are learning how to steward your spirit. You are learning how to protect your focus. You are learning how to move with intention instead of impulse. And these qualities are required for the next level you are stepping into. You may notice that your prayers change during this season. You ask for less validation and more alignment, less comfort and more clarity, less control and more trust. You start praying from a place of maturity rather than desperation. You no longer beg for doors to open that God has already closed. You ask instead for strength to walk forward without looking back. This is growth. This is evidence that the separation is working. Because when God removes certain people, He's also removing old mindsets, old fears, and old emotional dependencies that kept you tethered to places you had already outgrown. There will be moments when the loneliness feels sharp, moments when you wish someone could understand what you are going through, moments when you question whether this path is worth it. But even in those moments, you will feel a quiet reassurance beneath the discomfort, a sense that you are being guided, a sense that you are not truly alone, because you are not. God draws closest in seasons like this. When distractions fade, His presence becomes clearer. When external voices quiet down, His direction becomes louder. When the crowd disappears, your connection to purpose deepens. This is also the season where discernment becomes one of your greatest strengths. You start seeing through masks, you sense intentions without words, you feel shifts before they happen. This is not paranoia, this is spiritual maturity. You have been trained through experience, through disappointment, through separation, to recognize alignment when you see it, and misalignment when you feel it. This discernment will protect you in the future, because not everyone who approaches you later will deserve access. And God is preparing you now so you will not repeat old cycles when new opportunities arrive. Understand this clearly. The people meant for your next season will not require you to shrink. They will not drain you. They will not confuse you. They will not compete with your peace. They will recognize your growth, respect your boundaries, and support your calling. But before those connections can enter, the old ones had to exit. There could not be overlap. There could not be divided loyalty. There could not be emotional clutter. This separation was necessary to reset your relational foundation. As you move forward, you will begin to feel a quiet confidence settling in. Not arrogance, not superiority, but stability. A knowing that you are exactly where you need to be, even if the path feels unfamiliar. You will stop explaining yourself to people who are not meant to understand. You will stop chasing closure. You will stop seeking permission to grow. You will simply walk, calmly, intentionally, faithfully. And one day, sooner than you think, you will look back at this season and realize it was not a season of loss at all. It was a season of refinement, a season of preparation, a season where God loved you enough to remove what could not go where He was taking you. So if your circle is smaller, your nights are quieter, and your heart feels different, do not panic. Do not resist. Do not rush the process. You are not being punished. You are being positioned. You are not being emptied to be left barren. You are being cleared so you can be filled with what truly belongs to you. Stay with the process. Stay with the growth. Stay with the silence when it calls you inward. Because this separation is not the end of connection. It is the beginning of alignment.